All right, dudes, we are live with another Pangburn Hangout. This is Ask Me Anything Tuesday. Already joined by Captain Jack.
What up?
What up? I'm going to share this. So you were saying since the mandatory mask thing from a government perspective has been lifted, people are mostly just walking around unmasked, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say the majority of people I say now don't have a mask on. I mean, people still have it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Is it in bars and stuff like that? It's a really awkward rule that they have going on. Like it's just, it makes no sense and it's hilarious because it's literally a rule instated just to keep the bars operating.
I love
And
that.
it's fucking like okay, so you can walk. You have to walk into the establishment with your mask on. You
Yeah.
have to keep it on as you're being seated, but the second you sit down, you can take it off.
Yeah, that's kind of the same with what's going on here at this point.
It's just it's just funny as hell. Like most people at this point, the bars that I go to, a lot of them are open air.
Yeah.
So I'll just walk around, like nobody's wearing one. We're just all walking around. Like it was weird because like it kind of looks more like a fashion thing now, like with the amount of people that are wearing it. Like, oh, a couple of people like to wear masks. Like that's how it looks when you go into one of these places now versus like, oh, the mask mandate is here. Interesting times though. Yeah, no, there's still dancing going on that I saw with no masks.
Right. I actually I walked
go
through a crowd of anti-maskers this weekend when I was downtown Vancouver. And they were all just like grooving together and like, fuck these masks, fuck these masks. And, you know, they had their guest speaker, some guy was just like, the government's trying to hold us back. It was pretty funny.
Wait, what? I mean, I agree that it's uncomfortable and they suck, and I don't.
They
want
do
it on my
suck.
face.
No one
Like,
likes them. Like no one likes
yes,
it.
I'm agreeing with that. It sucks, but like, the government's trying to what?
They're trying to they're trying to keep us down.
Citation. What do you mean?
Citation required.
Just a little bit, for fuck's sake. Like, I mean, I've got a lot of things. Like, I've got a lot of like theories that people have said to me about these masks.
Yeah.
Like one of the it's actually good that the government's trying to get everybody to wear masks because it's stopping China's facial recognition software from getting everybody in their databases.
Yeah, facial recognition.
That's exactly the tone. That
Bill
should be
Gates
gone
is
at
trying
with.
to fucking kill us because it all comes from Alex Jones, and then they get used to hearing it, and then it changes their voice.
Oh man, then there's a rumor, I don't know how substantiated it is, of one of the vaccines, if not all the vaccines.
Adrenochrome.
Killing. Yeah, well, it's killing one of these like.
This is
cells
funny.
or chemicals in our body or whatever the
Johnson
fuck that's supposed to...
and Johnson.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like, oh, it's killing this like gene in your body that allows you to feel spiritually. They're like spiritualism. And I'm like, wait, so you're getting rid of like you're destroying the idea in people's minds that a supernatural God can exist? I'm not too opposed. I mean, like, no, everybody should have free will, so yeah, I don't do that, but like, I'm not like against the idea. Like, you know, believe what you believe in, but the less people that say they have imaginary friends in the sky that are gonna send you to a bad place for farting wrong or some shit, I don't know.
You farted too wet.
Yep, that's it. Sorry, boom. Arbitrary rules. Don't mix fibers, kids.
You will burn
right to hell.
Now you will now burn for all eternity down with the adrenochrome.
I can't handle when anybody does an Alex Jones impression, especially if it's half good. Yours is, so it's like fuck.
Oh
like,
man, that guy's
you could say the most
funny.
conspiratorial shit with that, and it sounds like he believes it so hard.
Even myself, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if I'm a conspiracy.
Oh, God, I would pay to. Oh my God, Alex Jones is a conspiracy.
Yeah, Alex
Sir,
Jones is spreading.
You've become a little too far removed from yourself, buddy.
Yeah, I think I should
you
create
went full circle. You got to come back.
I think I should create a character named Alice Jones. I'll throw on a wig, and I'll just talk about how Alex Jones is the fake Alex Jones.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, that would be so good. Like anything that Alex Jones says, just double down. Like controversially wise, like if he says like I don't believe it, it's like I don't believe we ever made it to the moon. It's like, oh, that's funny, Alex. You believe in the moon? You believe in the moon?
You believe that the moon's there and it's not just a hologram? Man, you're hashtag unwoke. Time to wake up, people.
Exactly.
Turning the freaking frogs gay.
Eggs. The Earth's not flat. It's actually on a pyramid.
Mace Starwalk
So,
is calling for Sangburn. Hi, this is Sangburn. Mace Starwalk, we are waiting on Mace. What up, Dal?
Yo.
That's it. Dal? Yeah.
Well, she pronounced it Kyoken.
Texturing feelings is hard. I didn't know.
Feelings? Feelings are hard.
You got me right in the feels.
Yeah, trying to understand your limbic system and shit, that ain't easy.
Dal, I want to feel good about myself. Do you have time for a chess match?
Ouch. Wow. It was like, oh man, I just saw this like big dinosaur stomp on a puppy. It was so sad.
Mace is in the YouTube chat right now, just having a fit. Anti-maskers,
Why?
fuck my life. How come they didn't give you COVID? Also, are anti-maskers against using protection? When is the chess game going to start? I just came here for the chess. Sangburn, why isn't White making a move? Oh, I thought you were playing against an unnamed player.
Jesus,
I love it.
Mace.
I love it.
It's awesome.
I love it. Join us.
A lot of coffee.
More energy, Mace. Go harder.
Or tea. You had a lot of tea.
Oh man, you say Tai Chi? What?
You had a lot of Thai tea.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of Tai Chi.
Your mic's hard to hear, Dal. I don't know why.
I feel like you said iced tea.
Here, I'll play some random right
But
now. See if I can stomp them.
All right, now make sure your first move is always the piece in front of the king.
All right, who's got a skill testing question? Let's go. Do you even lift, brah?
Not very much.
Not very much, brah, to be honest.
No, I'll be real, bro. Can I lift things? Yeah. Do I lift? Not often.
Can I? Yes. Do I? Not really.
No. That's actually the next step in everything. I've quit smoking cigarettes. I've been on my diet for 5 months. I'm about to start drinking a whole lot less, and then all I've got to do at this point is work on an actual workout routine, and I'll be fucking happy.
Right. Well, that's an interesting. Huh. It just makes me sad for you. I'm gonna do. Oh, do I really have to do that? Yeah. Okay, I will.
Do it.
You working on any music lately, there, Jack?
Honestly, the unfortunate part is that every time I record something, yeah, because I freestyle 90% of the time. Every time I record something and I listen back to it, I hate myself every single time. I'm just like, and it sounded so good when I was doing it, and now that I listen back to it, this is ass. But I'm my own worst critic, so I'm trying to get over that. But no, not technically. I've just been working on my actual technical skill.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I haven't been actually putting any pen to paper, as it were.
Oh, yeah.
I need to though, because that's it. Like writing songs is hard for me because when I pick a theme, or when I pick a topic or whatever, I feel like I have to stick 100% to that topic the whole time.
Right.
And I know that's not the fucking case. And if I feel like if I'm not talking about the topic or I'm not covering something even related to the topic about it, I feel like I've gone too far and it's not as centered or like the idea isn't as centralized as it needs to be. And I'm like, that doesn't even need to happen. And I'm still hung up on it.
Right. I hear you. Okay, I'm...
1, 2. Testicles, 1, 2.
Yeah, it's perfect. We got your testicles. 2, 1.
You have both of them.
That's it. I feel like I had a question when I showed up, but I forgot it.
You got a Norm Macdonald that shit. Hey, I got a question.
Hey, that Bill Cosby guy, you know, he's pretty funny, you know.
Yeah, I heard he likes to put certain things in ladies' drinks.
Yeah. You know, he's a role model, you know.
You remember the only time I ever did any good in a movie, and it was Dr. Dolittle, where nobody saw my face.
Dr. Dudes.
Fucking Dr. Dolittle was hilarious. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. It is a terrible movie, but it's so fucking funny.
Yeah. I haven't. I think I maybe saw that once when I was young. I don't think I ever went back to it. Maybe I should give it a shot.
Too, because there's 2 Dr. Dolittle. There are 3 now. There's the original Dr. Dolittle from like the 70s or the 60s.
Right.
And then there's Dr. Dolittle, the one with Eddie Murphy, which is probably the better one. And then there's the new Dr. Dolittle, which is Robert Downey Jr. in it, which it's just a really weird movie.
Yeah. Hey, Shrek.
Like they made it a lot more fantastical. Hey, Shrek.
Yeah. What up, Wise? How's it going, man?
Hey, man.
Carving up a bear there? That's what's up.
Yep.
You carving today? Oh, man, look at that. For anyone on listening on YouTube, you should jump in the Discord. Check out Wise Ape's carvings here. It's fucking amazing.
Bro. That thing is noise.
Mace Starwalk says, question for Trav. Why do you think some people are genuinely against capitalism? Because people have different moral foundations, and their moral foundations are informing their political views. So it's just the variance in the moral foundations. Okay, he moved there. Wait, what? Oh, yes.
He did it just to make you think.
I'm so excited. I'm definitely winning this game. Mace says, I simply don't understand why anyone would be in favor of socialism as an alternative to capitalism anyway. Well, some people think socialism means like socialized things like policing and universal health care and things.
Healthcare.
Yeah, and Mace, I mean, I'm not sure how you feel about Canadian healthcare, but you should look into it more. You say what moral foundations cause socialism? Well, if someone's convinced, like, say if someone has a similar, moral foundation to me, and they want to maximize well-being for themselves and those around them, they might see some socialized programs that, if they were done properly, that those would be the best programs, and you'll see some in capitalistic societies, some of the ones they're talking about. Ooh, hang on here. I don't think he saw this. Bazinga! I took his horsey.
Goodbye, horsey.
Goodbye.
It was nice knowing you.
Horsey. Yes, quite.
Quite. Yeah, see? You're going to give me the horse. You're going to give it to me now, see?
Yeah. You were good. You were good, kid. Real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?
Do you understand? I love that fucking shit.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Back when everyone talked through their nose.
No.
There was no other way.
You're good, kid. You're real good.
You're good, kid. Real good.
I don't know if I remember where that actually came from or just Jim Carrey's rendition of it in The Mask.
Right. Exactly. I think that's what everyone knows.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Honestly, you know what? I actually read the comics of that movie.
Yeah.
Like what inspired it, and holy shit, like it's just as silly, but oh my god, is it so much darker?
Right.
Like,
Interesting.
the Mask comics, they're free to read online, and this is a completely different turn than what you expected. Stanley Ipkiss gets the Mask for like 5 minutes.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Just slows down time.
No. It's more like there's so many other users of the Mask, like it almost changes every couple of issues or issue to issue.
I can't castle now, Mace. Well, I'm going to pull back here.
Ooh, I got one. What is your favorite instrument to play there, Trav?
Piano. You know, I've been playing piano
like
since I was
Fame
3,
over top.
and I love it. I do love like the sound of guitar, the sound of a French horn, and I've dabbled a bit in French horn throughout my life, more in guitar. But yeah, I just damn. Oh no, this is okay. Gonna go there. So yeah, I'd say the piano. How about you, Jack? Did you ever play anything?
I tried. I really did. I'm not suited for instruments apparently. Like it does not work for me.
Right.
I tried playing the piano. It didn't go. Tried playing percussion. That was fine. I just never got like any training in it. Like they just like, it's really weird. The only times I've actually been in a band type setting, I didn't receive any training.
Right.
They just expected me to keep up on my own, which was really weird.
Interesting.
But I joined percussion in like 7th grade, and they were like, okay, and we're like halfway through the year, and I'm not going to give you any like teaching or like tutoring sessions, so we're going to start with like these mid-level songs. Go ahead. And I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
Why do you suck? Well, because you haven't taught me anything.
Why are you the worst player on this planet?
Exactly. So like, well, I just have no fucking idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then
teach me. I want to know.
Saxophone after that. Yeah, I tried playing saxophone after that, and that was a lot of fun to play. I still sucked at it. It was like another kind of thing happened. I joined the next year into 8th grade on it, and they're like, "Oh, we only have an intermediate band, so the only way you can join is if you're an intermediate player."
Okay.
Like, well, I'm new, so they're like, "Well, we need players, so you can join." I'm like, "Okay, so you're bending the first rule."
Right.
And then I got let in, and then I didn't get any tutoring sessions or anyone to help me learn.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh, everybody's a whole year ahead of me, and I'm expected to keep up. And I played in a concert. I was literally just staring at the other sax player's fingers and trying to copy the best I could. No shit. Oh man,
okay.
yeah, no, I'm not suited for instruments. That's why I rap / I'm trying to learn how to sing actually, because I'd like to sing now. I'd like to sing a little bit, but
yeah,
definitely, it's why my voice seems to be the only thing I can use.
Mm-hmm. My voice is my power.
Yeah, kind of. I've seen people's voices do some crazy ass shit before, so.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man.
Is it fucking oh shit, we got somebody else in here now.
We got Grim, we got Zombie.
Love that shit.
I saw that a bunch of my favorites were in here, so I had to dip in for a minute.
Nice.
We
Well,
love you too, Zombie.
How's life?
life is great. I love life.
Texturing feelings is difficult.
Better than death.
78%.
My life's 110. 24/7.
I give it. I give my life right now about a C+ approaching B.
That's good.
Okay.
It's going
It's
up.
on the upward trend.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's my positive spin on it too. I'm like, it's going up.
I love it.
This is kind of cool to watch Wise Ape working on his craft there.
Doesn't he look like
It
a
is
Greek
badass.
god just working on his sculpture?
Yeah,
That man's a Greek god.
I'm digging this.
Oh,
One of the sons of Hephaestus that does woodworking.
this guy either just blundered. Yeah, I think he blundered. Unless I'm missing it. No.
If I know the technical term, he lost to the old switcheroo.
Well, he put his castle in the middle. I don't know why. Yeah, he did blunder.
Thanks, Zombie. I can hear you guys. I just like
awesome.
listening to you.
Yeah, this is looking
Dope-ass
great,
bear.
dude. You got talent. I
Yeah,
thought
no,
that
for real,
eagle
that
was
bear is
awesome.
something
I'm
else.
liking the
Yeah,
bear.
dude, that
Yeah.
is beautiful. I have that blown up on my screen right now. If you guys want to see on
wow.
YouTube what we're talking about, jump in the Discord and come see Wise Ape's sculpture, his
big old bear?
wood carving
It is
of
seriously
a bear,
badass.
of a happy bear, a bear that just devoured an entire beehive,
And he's sitting happy.
an
Hey,
entire
if I
honeycomb.
get my farm, I'm gonna Wise Ape make me something.
Oh, looks good, brother.
No, seriously, it's so bad.
He's gonna put some honey in the mouth before he sells it.
Question.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, man.
Dal, did you say question?
Yeah, would you call how should I phrase it? Would you say if you had to pick between the two that the human body is communist or capitalist?
The human body?
The human body, like at a cellular level.
It's capitalist.
The
100%.
human body. What the hell does that even mean?
It's an abstract question.
Yeah, it's an
Like-
absolute.
Surely it's communist.
No, I mean I get it, but capitalism wouldn't it be more like it invents like products and then sells it to its other self friends? Is that what you're talking about?
I think we're
It's more
definitely
it's more like
consumers.
giving. I think it's giving for gain. Like you do a lot of things that your body does for gain, and it puts a lot of negative strain on it in the meantime. But you eventually gain things based on the work you put in. So I feel like that could possibly be why it's capitalistic.
It's more communist than I guess at that point. No, it shares everything. It works like crazy, and then as a cell, you are easily replaced, and you must die.
Yeah, I think it's all everything emerging is self-serving. So in that sense,
It's all
it's
capitalist.
capitalistic. I think.
I think self-serving is fine, but self-dependent, no. That's the other side of it too. It's going to be part of a
Yeah,
cog
you
machine.
gotta take in a calorie count. That's for sure.
Yeah, no,
This guy's castling.
speaking
all
of
right.
the calorie count or whatever, I was 240 in December, and I've gone from 240 to 205.
Very
Oh,
nice.
that's
Right on, man.
That's
Eod.
fucking
Yeah, that's great, Jack.
watching calories and shit is ridiculous.
Eod.
I think you sent me your extra weight.
Yeah. Eod Radwin says, is life good because it's simple, or is life good because you have almost everything you want? I would say simplicity. Some would say my life is simple, but some would say it's very complicated. But whatever it is at this point, I would call it quite simple from my perspective. At this moment in time, I do have everything I want, but I do have some things I want, in a couple of years from now, but I don't want those things right now. But I have everything I want right now.
Well, I'll just remind you.
Do you have everything?
You
have everything you need, but not everything you want.
You're only looking at this right now. You don't actually have it.
I do want that carving.
Dude,
Don't make me
that thing
come
would be
down there.
expensive. Look how massive it is.
Yeah.
I used to have
that
a,
thing, he's gonna get a pretty penny for that thing.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I think I still have a quote on my email.
I think
says success is. I gotta go to my email actually. I gotta look at it. Some bitch.
Hey, Pangburn, have you ever heard of the minimalists?
Yeah.
I mean, I think kind of how you were answering that is kind of their take on life. Being satisfied with the things that you do have versus your monetary stuff or your things, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, it's like if I want something, I go out and get it. However I need to do that. And right now, what the key thing, the main things I want in my life right now is to finish my first book, which is going really well. Get that published and out there. Visit my family soon because it's been a while because of COVID. My parents back home. But besides that, I'm trying to think of other things that occupy my mind of things I want to. I'm one of those people that I built my career around exactly what I want to be doing every day. So some would say they might call me addicted to work, but my work is my pleasure. So
well, yeah, if that feeds your good stuff, then that's satisfaction for you.
And your bad stuff.
And that bad stuff.
And your bad stuff.
So the quote is a Daniel Carnegie quote that's been on my email. I just didn't remember it because I've had it for like years. But it says, "Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get." Yeah.
Use this opportunity.
So it's just being happy is a content feeling. That basically just means that no matter what you have, it's always within you to be happy. Some people put it on the outside. Some people are like, where's my happiness? Where is it? Around the corner? Is it over there? Is it when I accomplish this goal? It's just a terrible way, I think, to look at it.
Kind of running for something that you'll never maybe totally obtain, and you're never going to be happy.
Yeah, that's the whole gist of it. And I had to realize that like within myself, just because I had to fight depression. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh, if I want to be happy, it's within myself.
That bear already looks perfect. I don't even see where anything needs to be done to it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. But the shape is there. It's about.
There. Come on.
So.
Do you use the same chainsaw for even your finish work?
Yeah, this saw I use a lot to block out and carve things with, and then I'm using it also to put the texture in the fur.
You look like you could perform kids' dentistry with that chainsaw.
Yeah, probably could. My kid got a tick. He had a tick today. I should have used the chainsaw to get it off. I could not get that tick off. It was like right here on his arm.
Oh yeah, dude.
And
can I get the pincers in?
I was pulling it with my fingers, and then I tried tweezers.
They make these if they make these little, like if you go to like a pet store, you get this like little plastic like groove thing, and it pulls ticks off within like a second. It's like really fast. You should get one of those. They cost like $3 or something like that, and they're just like a little plastic tool, and it's a really quick way. Really neat.
Nice. Yeah, we got hit this week with a bunch of ticks.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
That sucks.
Keep your clearings down.
Yeah.
'Tis tick season.
That's a thing too. I mowed and they just.
That sometimes it drives them, man, when you mow like that. So.
Whoops.
Jeez.
Damn, I just got smoked by that guy.
But you said he made a mistake.
Pole
1 for 1.
smoked.
No, that was the game before.
Killian, did you just say pole smoked?
I have no idea. In the universe that you live within, did you believe that I said it?
Pretty sure. I think it's recorded. I think I can go on YouTube right now.
I mean,
you
can
just
you?
say pole.
Do you actually have the ability
Someone
to
said
tab
something
out and
about
go to
smoking pole.
Yeah, I think you do it right now. Yeah, I think you just said pole smoked. Like, I don't think he meant that.
No, I know. That's exactly why I said it, because he didn't mean that, and it was comedic.
It's like a 3-year-old trying to like pick up turns. You just got your pole smoked. I don't know, kid. That's not how we say that.
Hey,
Right.
I want to ask you if you've heard this term before because of what you do. Have you heard the term honeyweed?
Sounds familiar, but I'm not too familiar with it. Describe it.
Well, after doing research, because I thought it'd be a really cool farm name, it is actually cultivating marijuana in honey. Like like taking clippings and dipping it in honey and then starting a new plant.
Huh.
Interesting. That's what I thought.
Yeah, there's a lot of different styles and techniques.
I heard a lot of shit going on with. Oh shit! Go ahead.
I was gonna say I haven't heard it. I know there's a honeyweed plant, but there's not growing it like that.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing a lot of stuff about this new Delta thing that just came, Delta 8 or Delta 9. I think it was Delta 8.
It's Delta 8.
Started, they started like locking it down in a lot of places, and it's because it's CB, it's like non-THC, but then you add a certain kind of acid, and it becomes THC.
Well, people understand THC, and that's a big problem, and so the issue with that is that you can convert things like CBD into Delta 8. So like I can have a huge hemp field and I can convert it all into THC. Right? Just through simple transference, simple extractions. Most people know how to do this. Delta 8 wasn't defined in the Farm Bill. And so you can create a lot of THC out of that hemp, and so that's why the DA is like, yeah, we don't want that. And so they're cracking down on it. And I've got a lot of clients that are selling Delta 8.
Well, that makes sense because...
What party poopers?
I know, right? That makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, so their problem is that you could just make a lot of hemp into THC fast. Okay. They're bastards.
Yeah, it is tricky. It is definitely tricky.
See, this is
because
why...
then you also go to Delta 9, then you have THCV. Yeah, and then you have THCA, THCV. And
I like THCA.
Well, here's where they fucked up. They separated hemp from marijuana, like legally in the Farm Bill. And you're like, well, no, what the fuck? And you're like, okay, well, sativa, right? There's 3 plants. There's sativa, indica, and ruderalis. Those are the 3 plants that make up all things cannabis. Okay, that's a cannabis plant right there. You can mix all 3 depending on your quantities, and you can make a fantastic cannabis plant. You can just go with the sativa ruderalis combo and go with just hemp. You can go with just indica and ruderalis and go with just your typical cannabis plant. And so messing with these combinations gives you all sorts of variants. When you deal with just the sativa and the ruderalis, you mainly just get a hemp plant out of it, but you have to use certain strains and certain types of, you could either do tissue culture or seed banking, and keep your THC level below 3%. If it's below 3% in most states, you're federally okay. Montana is a weird one because they push for 6%, but basically if you keep it on that 3% rate, a lot of times they want you to go what they call tea-free, which means that whenever you extract out of the hemp plant, it has 0 THC in it whatsoever. And that's actually not good because THC actually opens up your cannabinoids for you to accept things like CBD and CBCs and CBGs. And there's tons of cannabinoids, tons and tons of cannabinoids. They're in your system, they're in your brain, they're in breastfeeding, they're in trees, they're in plants, they're fucking everywhere. It's just they're really concentrated in the cannabis plants themselves. I can go on and on about this shit.
Yeah, no, if it wasn't Trav's AMA, I'd say continue.
No, you can keep going.
Yeah, so studying it for years.
No, that's fucking tight. I'm a regular and habitual user of said thing, and I learn as much about it as I can, but I'm not a researcher or anything. So.
Yeah. People say they're more of a sativa person. I'm more of an indica person. That's all kind of bullshit. There's thousands of cannabinoids, depending on the mixture and the flavor and how you work with it. Like, listen, if you get a 34% indica. Okay, yeah, it could pretty much put you on your ass depending on how much you smoke. But if you smoke just a little bit, maybe it'll bring down some anxiety and you actually get a lot of shit done. Or if you're just some good sativas, I've had sativas put me down just because you get super fucking high on a good sativa, like a good Jack Herrera or something like that. And so
I love Jack Herrera.
Jack's good. And so you've got, things that work for certain people, but really this is the best way. You have a cannabinoid system in your body. It is responding to the cannabinoids that you consume, that you put in your body from many things. Cannabis plants help to fill those cannabinoid receptors and sometimes actually fuck with those cannabinoid receptors, which is kind of cool on an interesting medicinal way. But either way, what is different is that your body is different from the other person's body. What you consume needs to be a regimen for what you consume, and depending on what plants you like and how it makes you feel and so on and so on.
Is there a way to check what cannabinoids go into somebody's body and then find a weed for them based on that?
Yes. Yeah, so you can take a cannabinoid test. It takes about a week, and it'll be sent back to you, and it says you're deficient in these cannabinoids.
No shit, and then I just pick those ones, and wow, that's badass. I'm going to have to find that.
And then you can, and then if somebody wants to do a full spectrum on the cannabis plant that they're selling you, then they can list you exactly the cannabinoids that are in the plant, and then you can kind of match them up.
Wow. Because ever since I learned, it was somebody who was this young kid that I know. He just started smoking, but he gets real into whatever he's doing. So he got real into it, and he's like, that he pretty much said the same. Sativa and indica is it doesn't really matter because each different plant has their own cannabinoids and shit. I'm like, oh fuck, really? And we fucking talked about it for a while. And I was like, no shit. And I was like, okay, well in that fucking case, I need to find out what mine are. Fucking do this shit.
And you keep up. I mean, we've been going, especially in America. Most people go for decades, and even people right now. I mean, cannabis consumption is about 20% in the United States. I think it's about a little bit less in Canada. Actually, it might be the same. I don't know that statistic, but regardless, it's most people function just fine and get their cannabinoids from other places and other plants because these things are found fucking everywhere.
Trav.
What's
the highest you've ever gotten, Trav?
The highest I've ever gotten? Oh man, I think it was probably it was when I was quite young, and my buddy Niall had rolled this gigantic blunt, and I'd hardly ever smoked any weed in my life. And he was like, yeah, let's smoke this, Travie. And I was like, yeah, I guess I could try it. And we smoked the whole thing. And I'm talking this was a blunt this long and that thick. And we sat and smoked the whole thing. And I think I was able to, like, for a couple days, when I would close my eyes, I was seeing like moving shadows. Like that's how high I was off marijuana.
Jesus.
Like I think what I was seeing is like reverberations from the night previous. Like it was way too much.
God damn.
That's crazy. Have you ever done dabs?
Ooh.
Dabs? No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Wax?
You know what a dab is? So dabs is where you basically take the oil from the cannabis plant and you concentrate it. You just extract all the oil, right? So you're smoking, when you smoke cannabis, that THC and all that, it comes from the actual oil of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it's actually the cannabis oil. So imagine now extracting all that oil out. Let me mute Wise.
No, I'm sorry.
He's got it. No worries. But you extract all that oil out, and then you smoke a concentration of that oil in a quartz bowl in a bong.
It should be a quartz bowl. Lots of people do it in glass, but it should be a quartz bowl.
Do it in glass. Yeah, do it in quartz. Yeah, glass might shatter with a flamethrower. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a very heavy concentration. You can be fucking tripping balls for hours. You can get pretty close to the mushroom level.
Yeah, I am. And I don't really like I do want to try mushrooms and stuff, but I don't like being that high. Man. I have I'll have like a little puff of weed. If I have more than just a few puffs, then I feel it very strongly.
I wonder if a microdose would probably be a better start for you than on that journey. Because I don't know. I remember the very first time I ever tried it. I did about 1.5 grams, but
interesting.
That stuff. It really depends on the stuff, because I've done a lot of some really shitty mushrooms, and I've done a little bit of some really good mushrooms.
Yeah.
The psilocybin amount is the amount of psilocybin, and is different depending on like what stage somebody picked the mushrooms. Right. So if it's an early stage before the caps actually open and kind of explode, you can catch it at a stage where there's a shit ton of it inside of it that hasn't left yet. So you can have closed caps that are way, way more potent than opened up mushrooms, which like a lot of people kind of think about the eat the caps because it has all the or more of the psilocybin in it. But
right,
those closed ones that haven't actually opened their caps have a lot more. They're called preemies sometimes, depending on who you talk to about it. That stuff is fucking amazing.
Interesting.
Again, like how do I describe? So I've done acid and mushrooms, and I don't know why I've done acid and mushrooms at both in decent amounts, and I'm still too scared to try DMT. And I don't know why. Like it's irrational, because I've had a lot of people that I know do it and they're fine, except for one person. One person said they freaked out, but everybody else that I've talked to.
Yeah, I want to do DMT as well. Yeah, it's only about 15-20 minutes, but you gotta definitely do it with somebody that can guide you. I think every time you do
I'm never gonna
a mind altering drug, you need a guide. So you could do pill form or whatever, maybe.
No, I would have them. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make them do like the old ayahuasca fucking soup shit that I.
You're gonna go the shaking bush and everything.
Yeah, no, fuck yeah.
It's crazy, man.
You're running through the woods. You're running through the woods. Bam.
Well, here's left. You gotta take a left turn, right turn, left turn, right turn. Oh no, hallway. No, is it But no, I remember, I don't know who got them or where they came from, but like, quick side note, I was living in a trap house. Anyways, this guy came back. He's like, yo, this like crazy guy I was talking to, like that I known for a while, is this spiritual motherfucker. He's got like a fucking meditation dojo or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And he's like, he gave me these seeds, and I'm like, what the fuck are these? And he's like, and we looked them up, and they were ayahuasca seeds.
Oh, okay.
Like he gave him like a bag of ayahuasca seeds. And
nice.
We didn't really know what to do with them, but we were like pretty sure. It's like we looked it up.
Let's fucking
and we found
snort it.
We're like, oh shit. Like, no, we didn't snort it. But I was like, I had bought in shrooms earlier that day, and I was like,
who do you buy?
Like,
who do you get shrooms off? Do you know a guy, or do you just go downtown and you can be like, hey, you got some shrooms? Yeah.
No, I know a person.
What if you didn't know where to get your shrooms? How would you go about it, Jack? You just go ask around?
No, I would head to a few
grow your own,
specific
man.
places. That
Grow
too.
your own.
I would also head to a few
they're not that
specific
hard.
places. If you get a PO box and you've got access to like a slightly deep web website, you can get them like delivered. But that's not what I or anybody I know did. Anywho, let's see. Best way to do it, I would go down to a few key places in Phoenix that I know about. You could probably find at least a couple people in the hippy dippy areas down there that would be able to point you to some without too much of an issue. I mean, a lot of people seem to have a hard time finding them actually out here, which is funny because I have a direct. But
Out where?
Out wherever, man. People have a hard time.
Out wherever. Nice.
I want to know your
not hard to
address, your SIN number.
No. Not hard to find shrooms in the everywhere.
It
I'll
wouldn't
say
be
that much.
I mean, it is for a lot of people, but sometimes you get lucky and people.
I guess I live too close to the bay where it's just like there's a dude right over there, man. What's the fucking problem?
Oh wait. Oh, dude, you live in Cali?
Yeah.
Just go to one of the parks, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know people that are like, yeah, I grow some in my shed. Like, what's up?
Yeah, like
it's
that's
like, oh, okay.
So literally,
Everybody-
all you gotta do is go to anywhere where it's like an RV park, like a really large RV park. No shit. If you walk
It's
through
like
there
the
and you're
Chappelle
really
show.
chill,
Everybody knows
Yeah, no,
that
if
they
you're-
can take $5 out of their mama's purse in the middle of the night, take the
Chappelle
South B Street
show.
train to the...
exactly. You just go over there and you just like, hey, they're like, yeah, we got some. It's like, of course you do, and then you leave, or you hang out with them, which I don't recommend.
It's funny.
Whatever.
Chappelle Show. Chappelle
Show. Oh man.
What up, Doolittle?
I think have you guys seen the Racist Olympics? That was amazing. Let's keep going.
The racist. What up? How's Tricks?
Sounds like a dog's name.
It's street talk.
No, Rachel
Whoa.
Trav is what I meant. Not Olympics.
What does
Olympics
How's
is
Tricks
even
mean?
funnier, but
Does that mean like what's up?
How's Tricks? Yeah, basically. How's life? Yeah. What do I want to do now? Well, let's put some pressure on.
Pressure pushing down on me.
Alexander and Iyad Radwan are going at it on YouTube.
Okay.
Oh.
I got one. I don't think I've asked this if anybody else has. You ever gotten into a fight, Trav?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
How old were you when you last got in a fight?
When I last got in a fight? Actually, to be honest, it was not really that long ago.
This morning.
What?
So
Trav
about
woke up and he just chose violence and fucked his mailman up. He was
no,
like,
about
"Bitch!"
actually, we did. Me and my brother were in a bar. We were in a karaoke bar, and it was. I think it was about 4 years ago, and yeah, we were just hanging out. We were singing some songs, having a lot of fun, and this was way more than. Or wait a sec. No. Yeah, this is about 4 years ago. And just have to think about the details here. But essentially what happened is there was these two girls who were causing trouble, and they basically, like, my brother was, I think he was out dancing or something, and then these girls thought they thought something that was completely bullshit about like something my brother did, and my brother had asked them a question. Oh no, that's what it was. There was this group of girls that was wearing like all these matching toques that said something on it. I can't remember what it said, but my brother was like, "Hey, what are the toques for?" And then they said something like "fuck off, we're not interested" or something. And then my brother was like, "Yeah, I was just asking you like what the toques are for, like why you guys are here." And they were like, "We said we didn't want to talk to you" or something. So they got like really, really angry, and they said something about misogyny or something like that in the exchange. I can't quite remember exactly what was said, but anyways, then me and my brother, like, you know, we forgot about it, started having a few beer and stuff, and we were just hanging out by the where the guy was actually DJing the karaoke, and we were waiting for our turn and listening to people sing. And these girls went over to this group of young guys. There was probably about 10 of them, and they told those guys that my brother was being was causing shit and being a problem, and that he was being weird and stuff. And I saw that they were kind of like surrounding us behind me, and they were kind of like watching us. And I got up to use the bathroom, and then one of them said something like, "No, I don't remember what he said. He said something, and I turned around and like said something, and I wish I could remember what it was. I'm sure if I thought about it, but it was just like a dead burn. It was in between songs, so a bunch of people heard it and laughed, and then and then all of a sudden, they like this swarm of these short guys, like. I'm 6'2.5". I'm not super tall, but these guys were like very, very short. But they were coming at me. I got hit to my left, like it was like the raptor you never even knew was there. It's like I saw the raptors in front of me, but I didn't see this raptor to my left. And I got hit like on my left side. And it was like this guy was, whoever threw that punch was throwing pillows, but like hit me just like kind of in the cheek, and it just like bounced off, and we were and I was backing up, and all of a sudden I see my brother get up, who's about the same size as me, and it's both of us. We both have our arms out like this, kind of like Neo with the bullets coming at him, and we were like, no. And it just, when I think about it in my memory, it felt like me and him both had like 5 guys, and we were just holding them back with our hands. And my brother got a beer glass broken over, like it was like kind of the top of his head. And again, like we were in this like adrenaline mode where we didn't even feel any pain or feel any knocks of anything, but we did, and we were able to maintain when we were holding them back, we were able to refrain from hitting any of these little guys. I think the worst that happened to one of them is my brother was holding one back, and he bent him backwards just with his pure force, because my brother's like super strong, but he like kind of bent him back. But it all happened just in moments. But those guys ended up getting kicked out. Like there was a huge group, and I think the cops were called, and those guys all ran away. But yeah, we just continued on with karaoke night. And that was the last time. But yeah, Iad, I'm 6'2.5" and a bit. But yeah, that was the last time I was in any kind of scrum. When I lived in Calgary, that's a pretty rough place. I started to realize when you go to bars and clubs and stuff. So a few scrums there, and on the ice as well. So yeah. But that one at the
on
bar
ice
was
shit
the
is
most
crazy.
recent.
Anybody who can fight on like too thin middle skates has got some shit going on because that's a pain in the dick.
Stab the other guy with one of them.
Well, you have to,
or like not fall over. Like,
yeah. The thing
not
about that
falling
is
over while getting punched.
Yeah, you got to grab
Yeah.
on for leverage for balance to the other guy and get a good grab. You want to get really close to his neck on his gear. That's where you want to grab, like onto his gear, so that you kind of know where you want to land your punches, and then you gotta know how to defend yourself. It's defense in a hockey fight is everything.
Especially because in a real one, they throw their helmets and their gloves off, so they're being real about it. They're like, hold on a minute. We're not punching with a bunch of pads and shit.
No, yeah, it's bare knuckle. Yeah, it's bare. It's all bare knuckle fighting.
Throw a punch.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're just somebody's gonna win.
Yeah, it's bare knuckle. But you know, for the most part in hockey fights, one thing I will say, the most thing for the most part in hockey fights, people don't really get injured. You know, guys are pretty good to let up if the guy's too vulnerable, or you do land a really good one. Usually guys don't continue. There is an etiquette thing behind it. So
okay,
you got to be careful because you can really like destroy someone's life if you land a really, really solid punch. It's scary. Yeah.
Like Happy Gilmore. I'm the only guy in hockey to stab a guy with his skate.
Yeah. Take my skate and try to stab somebody.
Right in the intro there too. It was amazing.
Oh, I'm gonna take this guy. Come on, don't move. If he doesn't move his queen or his rook, then I got him locked. I got
One
his
day
rook
somebody's
locked.
gonna stream snipe you on here. And just, like,
stream snipe.
and just listen to every move that you're gonna do, and you're gonna be like, wait a minute.
Can you imagine actually? Nike 13105 is a follower, and he's just like stream sniping me right now.
What he does is he takes all your AMAs, puts together a computer algorithm of the next move, and fucks you.
That would be so funny.
You feel so humbled by that. You'd be like, this guy took the time out to watch all my shit, computer algorithm, to take me down. That's pretty honorable.
Oh yes,
respect on that one.
It's pretty honorable.
I
That's
love
what
it.
I call
I love
honor.
It. Oh, I love
I
it.
don't want no scrum. Scrum is a guy who wants to beat my ass in a bar, hanging out his best friend's ride, and he can't say. Okay. I never heard of scrum before, like a scrimmage, but it's like a scrummage.
Yeah, but I was proud of me and my brother that we didn't like wind up and start hitting guys. That wouldn't have been good. Yeah, you want to avoid. You want to avoid doing that.
You know, when the lollipop yelled attacks, you have to be able to defend yourself.
No, you do have to defend yourself, but in that circumstance,
that was what you did.
It felt like
you did.
Yeah.
That was what you did.
That first hit I took felt like a skinny armed teen, and these guys were probably 19, like fresh 19, I would say.
Dude, if somebody's throwing pillows, it's like super sad. If you ever get hit in the face with somebody that's really meaning it and it feels like a pillow, it's really sad. If anybody hasn't been hit in the face and it's been unexpectedly soft.
Yeah, I used to bounce in a punk rock club. People took a shot at me. It was cute. And you just look at them and you just say, hey, it's fine. You're just not being there. And then I'm not going to hit you again. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's always what you get. If you could, most of the time, if you could take a hit on the chin or like a dead strike to the chest, and you just look at him all calm, and you're like, if that was the best you could do, that's probably not a good idea to keep going. It's like we're gonna go ahead and have to stop there. I'm not even like big or stocky or nothing. I could just take a punch for whatever reason.
Oh, there was a question put in the poll. Oh, I got to go over to the Pangburn poll because I did release a poll.
Everybody, let's go take a look at Travis's poll.
Everyone, let's take a look at my poll.
Yep, I think that's the attention grabber today.
Which ideologies do you think have the most coherence and reliability to deal with the future society after it's been implemented? To clarify, which movements, particularly those that advocate for change, revolution, also have a promising strategy to deal with society after their desired goals have been met? And I believe you're Steekdal in Discord. Thanks for the question. I'll answer it in just a moment. I just want to finish this move. I have to take, yes, the queen.
Kick his ass, Seabass.
Kick his ass, Seabass.
If that big guy over there in the corner is Seabass, then yes.
That's such a good movie.
Seabass said that? I love that movie.
Yeah.
King bird. Yeah, mockingbird.
Then what happened? Oh, it's a great movie. Then they caught up with him a few miles down the road and killed him.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay. Actually, which ideologies do you think have the most coherence? Yeah, well, ideologies are like, these collections. So, I mean, you could look at humanism and find a lot of good things in humanism if it is, if you can weed out all of the bad eggs and the temptation to politicize one way or the other with that ideology. This is why I don't subscribe to an ideology. I just make my own as an individual. So, I'm not sure that ideologies are the right way to go. As far as like an ideology that applies to a group, I think it's better for people to focus on their own individual ideology, on the collection of ideas that best maximize their well-being in their life, and obviously for those around them as well, because that's going to create a positive feedback loop. So and then when we're looking at movements like, the anti-circumcision movement is a positive movement that needs more attention, needs more support. We need to stop hacking baby penises like somehow those penises belong to the parents. They don't.
Agreed.
It's disgusting, and it just needs to stop. The absolute retarded apologetics that happen behind that, along these terrible citations of data that they think is complete and real. There is no justification to hack at child genitalia, and those of you who seek to excuse away you who have done it to your children, as opposed to saying sorry and saying it was part of the era that you were living in led you to believe that this was right. But for anyone who tries to justify that crap with like, oh, well, I was circumcised, so I thought the rest of their friends would be circumcised, you're removing the most erogenous part of the penis. I understand a lot of you males out there don't understand this because you've had yours robbed from you. And I'm not saying you have to go around being depressed about it, or that you're a lesser man because you have less of your penis, but it was taken away from you without your, without your say so, and that was your body part. And we know now it is the most erogenous part of the penis, serving 12 medical functions and many other functions. So stop doing this to children.
I would say that your ideology. You like ideologies that have kind of self-evident axioms, like the laws of logic, which is a self-evident axiom. They work because they work. You don't need to have some sort of external justification of the true nature of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I like that system, but it's
the
not
way our reality works.
But it's not an ideology, right?
Well, ideology is based off those kind of axioms, right? So like if you're going to have an ideology, what's your ideology based on? Your ideology is not based on a bunch of whimsy fairy tales.
And that's the problem I have when people need to instead of just focusing on the mechanism that works, they think that they need to build something greater and connect all these things and add all these rules and shit. And I think it's a fucking, it's the opposite of clarifying your mind and clarifying, how to live how to live well.
What's the slogan? Let art and science inspire. Is it just a slogan or?
It's just a piece of it's just a statement, an ought statement from myself to say, and it's more speaking to. It's not speaking to the what is going on in reality. It's connected to the ought and the the artistic and scientific inspirational meters that I will outline in my first book. But let art and science inspire. Let it inspire you. These are the things, the things that inspire you in your life, are inspiring you, are coming from those two things. And I'm talking about from an individualistic standpoint, not the inspiration you might get from your children. That's more, crossing over into the is and the ought. But I'm talking more about, the things that you as an individual, if you found yourself on this planet alone, what would you do? Where would you find your inspiration? What would inspire you? And categorize those two things into those two parts. But yeah, I think, and I think those need to be variable. You can't get too detailed with them because people are going to have different things that they draw pleasure from or that they find pleasurable to pursue in those two categories. And that's where we find major differentiation. Like someone staring at a Picasso painting and thinking that it's just a piece of shit, and other people just think it's the most beautiful thing they've ever seen.
Would you argue that those who are truly trying to do harm to their species, though they might think it is pleasurable, really it is not, and it's something else that they are suppressing?
Well, I think
childhood trauma.
Yeah, well, this is a big part of my book, how the pleasure drive can be perverted and stifled based on the psychological state of the carrier. So you can be in it like, let's look at pedophiles. Maybe I wonder what the level of their pedophilic drive is if they have all of the things, the other things in life that would bring them pleasure. So if they had all the money in the world, if they had, their ideal spouse, even if they have this emergent quality of pedophilia, how is that going to affect the pleasure drive? And are they getting enough pleasure out of their life at that point to at least keep those, thoughts to themselves and keep their hands to themselves? But when I see this differentiation between pleasure drives out there, it's the fundamental rule is that they are pursuing pleasure, but the other thing you're going to run into, and the reason why I'm writing a book is because this is complicated. Some people are making, everyone is making different term investments in their pleasure. So you see this play out all the time where...
Like a timeline, you mean?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like some people have the intuition to make a pleasure investment 10 years into the future. Their biological structures allow for it. But other people just can't do that. They can't. It's not quick enough.
And I would argue other species. I think it's a species differentiator too.
So yeah, big time. The difference of species, we get into this whole other thing. But I do fundamentally think that this idea of pleasure runs very, very deep in life, and it's at the it really is the I think the spark, this pleasure drive to self-replicate is kind of the most simplest way to look at it in like a nucleotide. But you know, there's some things I have found, and some interesting things that I'm bringing to my second book that maybe will maybe inspire some more research into a certain way of thinking about life.
I think another good example is you mentioned pedophilia, but I think an example that more people resonate with maybe is substance abuse.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's like when a person finds a way to just hit that pleasure button over and over and over again.
Yep. And and
fMRI causes a malfunction, sort of.
Yeah, and MRI and fMRI studies have really opened up a whole new world of biology for us, and you know, even in physics, there's a lot to be discovered. But yeah, you're right. The addiction thing is something I wrestle with in the book too, and giving examples of how substance abuse can affect your pleasure drive, and as far as I'm concerned, your pleasure drive is what you are. We've for a long time we've said, you know, we have this idea of consciousness, this idea of general awareness. I don't see us being aware of a fuck all for the most part. We're aware, you know, of things we're doing in the moment. We're aware. We feel aware. There's awareness going on. But I haven't been aware of my mother all day. I haven't been aware of my older brother all day. My niece, my nephew. Oranges. Apples. Left foot, right foot. It's not aware of it. This process is happening to me. Thoughts are happening to me. So there's a lot of nuanced conversations about what you are coming in the near future, I think. And it's not as bright and fantastical and human beings are special thing that people have maybe expected us to find something very special and exciting outside of what we normally see in life about the human mind or brains. I think Wolfram Physics and Stephen Wolfram and what he's doing with computation, you know, even in the way he's thinking about the hard consciousness problem, he's correct in a lot of ways.
You know, even in the way he's thinking about the hard consciousness.
You got to mute. You got to turn off the YouTube stream. Thanks.
Sorry, I just came up. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, I gotta move here. Okay, I'll go there. But anyways, that's for anyone listening. That's the topic of my of book number 2. My first book is going to be my book about I haven't chosen a title yet. It's probably going to be called Pangburn Dialogues, or the Pangburn Dialogues, and it's just going to outline the reason why I pick these 5 clarifying things for the human mind, which is the is, the ought. So what is going on in reality? How do you solve moral dilemmas? what inspires you scientifically, what inspires you artistically, and then how do you keep track of it all? Well, the answer is skepticism. So skepticism sits above those four elements, and then you get this beautiful object that will be a geometric object that will be represented in the book. And my first book, just a little teaser, it'll have a very Socratic feel to it with actual dialogue, like in some of the dialogues with Socrates. So
I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, sure, Nevik.
Can a pleasure drive be bad in abuse, like in drugs and drinking? And
sorry, can you ask that again?
Can a pleasure drive be bad in abuse of something?
Well, bad is a subjective moral measurement.
Okay. Negative gain in maximizing well-being.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, go ahead, scientific.
I just want to maybe try to offer a way to frame that question, because if we just assume that what we have is a pleasure drive and a pain drive, or avoidance of pain drive, you might ask the question as something like, can you use substances to seek pleasure in certain contexts, but have downstream consequences that induce pain? And because, when you talk about bad, it's like, yeah, that is a subjective thing, but you could just define that as pain.
Yeah, bad based on what metric? See, the problem is with scientific is that pain is also subjective, because we have some people who can take, who want a little bit of a slap on my ass during sex is fine. And then some people want to be choked, scratched, hit, and they wouldn't describe this as, I got to move this. Oh yes, this guy is getting slayed. They wouldn't describe this as pain at all. It's.
Well, let me ask you this: Would you differentiate the concept of pain from a state of suffering, like a persistent state of suffering?
So I look at it all as pleasurable pursuits, and sometimes that the most pleasurable pursuit will be a suffering avoidance, but it's still a pleasurable pursuit. So ultimately, if I want to quantify everything down into the most fundamental form, I look at it all as pleasurable pursuits, including if you're running away from a tiger, the pleasurable pursuit in that circumstance would be running away from the tiger instead of the pleasurable pursuit that is conceivable to run into the mouth of the tiger.
Can I say one thing? It could be a potential of a negative result and possibly harm, or not just harm. Probably it could end you, like an overdose, or it could be of a benefit of it just being a natural process of evolution and stimuli for survival.
Yeah, so it all depends what metric you're using, Nivik. So if you're using good, if you're using life or living as opposed to dying, there are perfect examples where dying becomes the epitome of pleasure for people based on my pleasure drive theory. And, and sometimes those people actually succeed in pursuing that, right? With suicide.
Okay.
And I don't think
so. It's kind of a blend. I'm kind of confused about somebody doing something positive that is beneficial or negative in loss.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like you're saying. Well, it kind of depends the frame of mind.
You don't want to get too sucked into the world of subjectivity with this thing, Nivik, because my second book is an objective book. It's not a book about well, I'm gonna decide to not call this pleasure. It's like, okay, fine, yeah, someone could do that, but I make my argument. My whole theory is based on the reason why my arm just moved like this and not like this is something that's being asked of your body from, the hard problem of consciousness, when we're trying to understand why the hand went this way and not that way.
Because my view of doing something pleasurable, that would be probably to your detriment. If that person, I'd see that. I see destruction as a bad result of the drive. But I mean, you say
I know you say
you wanted that.
Instead of Nivik, again, don't say bad. Say you have to add a metric in there. Say bad from the perspective of survival.
I said that the destruction that a person is, and maybe what they're doing that's pleasurable. They wanted the destruction, the self-destruction.
Well, I think,
but my view is that that's a negative thing. That's a.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Nivik. Do you think that someone could seek pleasure and be wrong about it?
That's where I was getting at. That's what I was saying. That's the question I'm asking. It's like, well, a person could be abusive with their pleasure by with taking drugs or whatever.
Of course.
Potentially overdosing.
But that's not really what scientific just asked you, though. I don't think.
No, yeah, I'm answering. Yeah.
Well, I think drug abuse is one version of that for sure. I mean, you can imagine someone saying, "Yeah, and I will feel pleasure by snorting this line of cocaine, but little do I know that I'm going to have a heart attack afterward, right?" And so you can be wrong like that, but you can also think like, I am going to, I don't know.
Maybe a person have
drive this car really fast because, I could say I want to drive my car really fast because it gives me a thrill. And basically every time I've done that, that hasn't been a problem for me. But then, I'm wrong incidentally about what I'm not doing the thing that will ultimately give me pleasure because I'm destroying myself. If I come into a car accident, I don't know, you can make wrong decisions, but the point is, at the moment you make the decision, you perceive some end goal of pleasure, and you can be totally wrong, right?
You think a person can have self-destructive, like a self-destructive personality about them because they're just suffering in life, and they dive down into some type of abuse and in misery.
Well, they're meeting some kind of need, right? I mean, that's
they can, and then that abuse they can die from drinking or shooting or whatever, and it's that they should have they wanted to whatever pain they're going through. Who knows? A kid lost, maybe a loved one that was close to them. Whatever pain they're going through, and they're masking it with some type of substance or some type of, they're abusing something that's negative to them, that in a way they're kind of self-destructive, and they're not really approaching the issues in their life that's making them suffer miserably, and they're and overcoming it in order to feel better. It's kind of like, but I'm kind of torn between, okay, is it that they are taking themselves out and because it's, taking themselves out in feeling miserable, in self-destruction, where in what I'm saying? So they're taking something that they make them feel good, but they're doing it in a self-destructive way in relation to something that is bad within their lives and they're suffering from psychologically.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like
people do that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, Pangburn, you might have a different perspective on this, but I feel that sometimes.
The movie
feel like
Arrival was kind of
let him
about
answer, Nivik.
Yeah, let me finish this thought, because I think sometimes, like, or not sometimes, all the time, every species has some kind of biological impulses that are not really dictated by reason. So in fact, it wouldn't make sense to say it's dictated by reason for most species, but for us, we have this ability basically to forecast into the future about a lot of other, like, higher level goals. And so that's where like thinking through rationally about, like, what's the outcome of this going to be, like, that's where that plays in. We use our frontal lobe of our brain to do that, but there's a more fundamental basic set of drives that kind of override that most of the time. And drug abuse is a great example where, you can rationally think to yourself, like, I need to quit heroin, right? I need to quit using heroin. But there is a more fundamental drive within your neurological, like, biochemical system that's going on that's going to push you to do that every time. And so, yeah, and it's not always going to lead to long-term good outcomes. But I think that might be partially why we evolved to have frontal lobes, is because, being able to extend the timeline that we're concerned with in farther out into the future, and, like, actually reason through, abstract scenarios and all that gives us a much broader perspective on what we can achieve in terms of fulfilling our pleasure drive,
There
David,
could potentially be something deeper of an urge than just wanting to take the drug because, of the feeling of the drug. It could be potentially stemming from something that was horrific in your life that made you turn to it in the first place.
Yeah. So one thing you have to keep in mind is that thoughts and things that are going on with your biological formation are happening to you. You're not dictating it. So it's not this thing. Yeah, it's not this thing where you're kind of reasoning everything that's coming out. I just want to answer David Echtel. He says, is it realistic to expect humanity to ever learn to deal with politics in a less ideology-driven manner? Yeah, of course. And so many do. And a lot of people think that skepticism is only for, and I'm not talking about, and I'll give you my definition of skepticism. The mechanism we use to differentiate bullshit from reality, and it's also the mechanism that questions and continues to question anything, not everything, because you'll go mad, you'll turn into a cynic, but anything. That's the key distinction that a lot of people, I think, screw up with when it comes to skepticism. But this process, this mechanism can be refined and solidified in people who have are on the bottom of the barrel of our IQ spectrum. Children starting at age 6 can start doing lessons in skepticism to help build a solid foundation in skepticism for them. And there's not enough of this kind of these kind of lessons being given to children, especially at the like when kids start going to school. It's one of the reasons why I'm developing a program that I hope the Canadian government considers, that, giving up 15 minutes every school day to do a quick lesson in skepticism that will be easy to administer and fun and social for the students. And parents can actually do these at home as well. But there's too much parenting and too much teaching that is based on teaching rules and knowledge. It's not the way to go about giving children the best opportunity when going into the world from purely a mind perspective.
You mean teach logic?
Not logic, skepticism. Logic is going to be a tool of your skeptical foundation that is used, but logic will come. But no, I don't mean logic, Nivik. I mean skepticism, which is, the mechanism we use to separate bullshit from reality.
I just want to push back on this for the sake of it. Don't you think that, like, in a world where everyone is encouraged to be, very skeptical, it's a little bit like herding cats? Like, how do you get people on the same page without some kind of assumed doctrine, right?
Well, you get them on the same page the same way that you attempt to get people on the same page with regards to the scientific method. There are people out there that are going to scoff at it and say the scientific method is just a bunch of politically driven guys getting together and running a political agenda. And that has nothing to do with the scientific method, but you're still going to have those people. So you could run that same argument against the scientific method. Isn't it just like herding cats? Well, yeah, sometimes it is, but
you're projecting a lot of those
but
people.
The scientific literacy over the years, as we have, done our best to educate the populace and kids and in the home with programming on TV and everything we can do, scientific literacy is just go up. And that's what I want to see happen with skepticism, and not this idea of like, I'm quite skeptical about that claim. That's not skepticism. Skepticism is not something people should be putting a bit over here and some over there. It's just a mechanism that should always be running.
Right.
And not to be confused with cynicism, because cynicism is the thing where you're a student and you say, well, maybe Adolf Hitler might have been thinking this instead of what you just said, teacher. And then the teacher says, no, we know what he was thinking because someone wrote it down. And you say, well, just because someone wrote it down doesn't mean we know what Hitler was thinking at this moment. Yes, it does. It says so in the textbook. That's cynicism, and the cynicism is born out of in that little scenario, it's just born out of some ignorance. But and also these conspiracy theorists who think that they're skeptics, who are doing conspiratorial line drawing to their the conclusion they've started with, which, that's not skepticism. They're like, yeah, I question everything, man. It's like you can tell they're pumped up. They have an agenda to find the secrets that no one else knows because I'm the most skeptical. It's like that's going to lead you down cynical valley every time.
Yeah, I think that's true. There's been some discussions or presentations about how we evolved to have some sense of rationality, but also to kind of like shrug off rationality in favor of like certain, basic assumptions. It's like, the lion in the bushes example that everyone gives, but one of the reasons they cite typically is that it takes a lot more brain power to sort through everything, and so you have to be discerning about what you choose to kind of reason your way through, and then kind of put everything else on autopilot. Because
that's why
it's just impractical not to. So where do you draw the line? Like,
what is the line? That's a very good question, and the line is going to be different for everyone based on their capacity. Some people are going to have the capacity to engage in deep philosophical conversations that test everything they thought they knew about how to think, or what ought be, or what is good and what is bad. And some people don't have the capacity to do that all the time. They have the capacity to work their job. That's, maybe the job of a cashier. And then they come home. They need to unwind. They don't want to be weighed down with these challenging questions that they just don't know the damn answer to. They just want to unwind and get ready for their next day, because they have their kids. They already feel like they are at the max of what they can handle. They're at max capacity, but at that max capacity, what I wish is for, at least at bare minimum, that person is operating with a solid foundation in skepticism, just so they understand if something comes up for them. If their child asks them a question about clouds, or if their child asks them a question about morality, they will have at least clarified their mind enough so that they can vocalize it to their child and give them some reason. And I don't think that's too much to ask of people. I'm not asking people to go and study quantum mechanics and to unify general relativity with it. I'm asking this of the Canadian government to consider my skeptical programming 15 minutes out of the day for kids at all ages, to get them having conversations, solving skeptical problems. And then, like Nivek brought up, eventually you'll start working into the various tools you can use as a skeptic, like logic, to help differentiate soundness from unsoundness.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A lot of those people that will accuse you of a political agenda are projecting themselves at you. It's because they're like that.
I think that's true to an extent. Yeah, I mean,
they're assuming it about you because that's what they're about. So
yeah, people who argue that scientists people who argue that scientists are just going off of some authority,
political agenda. Yep.
It's like,
well, they don't they just don't.
That's
fundamentally, they don't understand that if they are able to demonstrate what they are saying about the scientists in that way, they can go win a Nobel Prize right now. We have it set up to make you filthy rich if you can do something like that. So I always, test people's skepticism. If they say, well, here's where the virologists are going wrong and just working for the government or for Pfizer to sell vaccines, and their eyes rolling in the back of their head. I say, interesting hypothesis you have there. Do you have any proof positive for it? Oh, well, you can just look at there's evidence everywhere. How about the government, look at what happened with Johnson & Johnson. Yeah.
It's a good thing that virologists don't conduct their studies that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing that virologists are actually focused on what's going on microscopically and not what's going on macroscopically in your home when you're sitting on your sofa thinking that you know a damn thing about virology. So then I share some actual virologists in the lab who are like showing you a perfect or a beautifully a beautiful artistic map of exactly what's going on with this particular virus and what happens when it comes into contact with the dead version of itself after it's had a time to run through the immune system. And, all of these things, these beautiful pieces of art that are informed by what is going on in reality. And then someone comes along after all this work is done, and after we've put it through the peer review process, and no one can falsify it, and God damn it, I guess it's right. We still have people who sit there with their arms.
Why is that?
Their arms crossed like this and saying, no, it can't be all just that, which is the argument from ignorance fallacy. And then we get to logic. And if these people only had a solid foundation in skepticism, they would know that they should look at their argument that they're willing to make about this thing and see if it's logically sound. They would see that it's not. If they had a solid foundation in skepticism, they would look to the scientific consensus not as an enemy, but as the thing that will protect them against a singular scientist making a huge fuck up that kills people.
Yeah, I think it's kind of.
There's a reason why they do it like that, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think it seems kind of strange on its face to think like these are people who the scientists are people who are experts in their field and have devoted decades to the research and truth and people want to go and kind of armchair theorize about their motivations and this, that, and the other. But I think maybe what it comes down to, I don't know, but I want to think like it's not so talking about COVID or any scientific whatever. I don't think it's that people think all of science is just bunk or like no scientist is worth trusting, but there's a lot of assumptions that they hold onto really dearly that would kind of come tumbling down if they were to admit a couple of innocuous claims are true. That maybe sometimes the government does have our best interests. So maybe sometimes the government does have our best interests, and like maybe sometimes the government's fucked up. That's it takes a little bit of nuance to say that it's both.
Yeah, and
getting
some
into
people,
psychology.
And there's nothing wrong with pointing out failures, and that's fine. But don't just think because you've pointed something out, you have pointed out a failure. You have to demonstrate it. And so many people walk around with these undemonstrated ideas in their skull that yeah, I saw this one video, man. This happens to me on Facebook all the time. Hey, Trav, you're going to need to see this, man, before you do another live stream on COVID. And then I open up the video, and it's a voice like this talking with nothing on the screen. And you guys, recently out of Wuhan, we found out that this is actually a thing that's supposed to make us seem like we virologists understand this thing, but it's not. It's going to really, really explode and cause all kinds of cancers and all kind like this kind of stuff. And then I have to basically say, oh, okay. Well, how about you forget about that video for a minute and let me share this one with you. And here's some virologists in the lab. These are the guys that that informed the data that led to creating this most recent vaccine. And what you get if it doesn't agree with the last video that the person sent, they will say, well, man, these guys, this is where they think they're being a skeptic, when they're selectively skepticizing, when they go from video to video and apply a little bit of skepticism here and not so much there. Why is it sounds like you're strangling a snake or something?
I keep forgetting. I was going to say something, and that's why I unmuted my mic. But what I was going to say is something about like we need conservatives though, in case like the vaccine doesn't work. Oh, well, I think a couple days ago we were talking about like a hypothetical. This population likes to build their houses on the cliff, and everybody starts building their house on the cliff, but a few people stay back inland. And then what happens is the weight of all the people and buildings on this cliff causes it to crumble and they all perish. But, even though the scientists and everybody were saying, hey, let's go do this thing, it wasn't an extinction event because some people didn't chose not to go along with it.
So I guess I agree with that, but I know we're kind of changing topics to political spectrum stuff, but I think the key is determining why you're calling for either decision. I like you might have a good outcome if a conservative group decides to do such and such for whatever reason, and we can use the Cliff example, if we want. But like, let's say that they fear the canyon god, and so their rationale for not putting their houses over there is because this canyon god is evil, and that's the reason that they give. And I think that kind of reasoning can have all sorts of potential harmful consequences. It's better just to argue based on the facts rather than just a knee-jerk reaction against something that you see as a bad change for apparently like no reason, or at least no good reason. You should have to defend your claim. Like if you want to, reason. If we're going to use politics as an example, like if someone says, hey, I think everyone should have free healthcare, right? Like a hot button issue in a lot of places. That sounds great there's some obvious benefits there. And if you disagree with that, you should have to demonstrate why that's a bad idea. You can't just say you could just say I don't believe that people have a right to free healthcare, and that's your opinion. But what do you do when others disagree? So if you, I don't know, you have to find a shared set of values and goals, and then demonstrate why one way is better than the other way for achieving that set of goals. Yeah,
you're talking about the how laws emerge, essentially.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's probably a more general way of thinking about it. Yeah.
I just want to get this.
People do things.
Just 2 seconds, Nivik. Sensible 116 on YouTube poll says, if you found out someone was plotting to kill you, would you kill them first? No, I would call the authorities and tell them what I knew. Thank you for your question.
I just imagine Pangburn walking out with a shotgun.
Let's fucking kill him. You're Troy so-and-so, right? Boom. Whoops. Wrong Troy.
Well, as long as you're playing Eye of the Tiger the entire time you're doing it,
rising up,
you could have an
back
excuse.
on the street.
Ooh, I think there are people who would, though. There are people who would say, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, I've been looking for an excuse to go and murder someone, and this is a perfect excuse.
Yeah, there's that.
You guys ever heard of Joe Horn?
Who's that?
This guy in Texas. It's like this 7-year-old guy. Somebody was breaking into the house.
Oh my God! No! Oh no! Not this story.
I think I've heard this.
He calls 911 and he's like, I'm gonna go over there and just shoot him. And the
oh my God!
Operator, he's like, do not do it. Do not do it. What does he do? He goes over and shoots 2 guys, both of them in the back, because Texas has some weird stand your ground law. He just got off scot-free. He never faced any charges or anything like that.
Whoa.
Okay.
Shot 2 people in the back.
Yeah, that's brutal. This one makes me sick. Okay. This old guy, these kids, these rat kids being assholes were breaking into his home. And
it wasn't his home, it was his neighbor's home.
Was it his neighbor's home?
Yeah, it wasn't even his home.
Okay. And then he decided he was going to wait, make it seem like he wasn't there, and wait with a gun. And this young girl and this young boy jump in through the window, and he just blasts them away.
Oh yeah, that's a different one. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I remember that story. I think there was like a third that got away. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. From what I remember, and you could hear her scream in the fucking because he recorded it.
That's right.
He recorded it. The audio. I believe I've heard the audio, and he's like, "Yeah, take that, you bitch!" Like after he killed these two kids, it was like it's one of the worst.
It's the most disgusting.
Worst ones. Can you imagine
things.
luring kids? Like they're just stealing a bit of alcohol, and they lose their life. Like, oh my god, man.
Yeah, it's kind of
the one with
like
Joe,
honestly,
the one with that guy Joe Horn was crazy because I think it was that the Texas governor at the time threw like a big
and he got off scot free. That Horn,
yeah, got off scot free. The governor threw like a big party for him, and I think Glenn Beck was up there, and so what you did is you just went over and you shot these guys, and you like hear the entire crowd just start cheering, and it's like you guys are fucking sick puppies, man.
Yeah, I don't know what goes on through people's minds.
Yeah,
kind of
science. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, but
that dude was just like itching to shoot somebody. I mean, that's what it came down to.
Yeah,
there are definitely people like that, but there's a sort of like why would a crowd cheer? You know, it's like there's.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, maybe every one of them is sort of inflicted by this psychosis that this other guy had, right? But, but I'm not sure. I think there's something else going on. I think it's like an identity issue for people.
Well, that's the thing. You have to understand people before you're saying when you're trying to reason with a person that's fact and they're just doing this for no reason. And you said, well, yeah, there are reasons. But you kind of have to understand what it is going on upstairs, and people they skirt around having those conversations. It's like, well, this is that, and that's it. You just do it, and the person's like, and you're not getting nowhere. And you kind of have to understand what is it exactly?
Yeah.
And people don't discuss those things. It's kind of like, there's many other factors that are there that if you want to come to a conclusion, you have to add those factors. But people don't have conversations about those factors. It's like about, well, this is reasonable and that's it. Like why don't you agree? And the thing about that is like if
Nivik, I got to jump in there for a second. What's reasonable based on what metric? Because if someone, the thing that you get messed up with is that if someone's morality is, say, protect myself at all cost, even when hurting others. Let's say that's their moral foundation. Reasonable for them under that metric is going to be something that you may perceive as unreasonable.
Fine. I'm whatever it is. I'm okay. Is what I'm trying to say.
I know, but sometimes some
people don't come out and say what it is. What is the issue going on in their head, and you kind of have to figure it out or psych evaluate them. What's really.
I would be careful about psych evaluating certain.
Anyways, you guys get what I'm
saying,
people, though, right?
But
I'm just.
Yeah.
If you're not in a clinical setting, Nivik, your psych evaluation is going to be for shit. You got to be in a clinical setting for that, and you don't just go around psychoanalyzing people just how they're generally. You can start to know personalities and stuff like that, but it's not psychoanalytical. So I wouldn't use that term.
Yeah. You can have an opinion about what you think is going on in their heads for sure.
Right.
But I don't know. I would hesitate to refer to that as like a psychological evaluation. That's, I don't know.
Anyways, I think I'm going to pull us over to the tab. Everyone, thank you for stopping by to hang out for the AMA. Let's jump down to the tab and keep the conversation rolling. If you guys are on our new radio station, Live 365 Pangburn Radio. Come and join us on Discord. I'd love to hear from you. And also for all of you guys who are hanging out on YouTube, come and join us on Discord. I'm going to drop you a link. There you are. And thanks for stopping by. I really enjoyed it. It's been the Pangburn Hangout, and let art and science inspire.